Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming. My name is Hollow and today we're talking about both the new patch of 1.0.4 and the major info dump that was Season 1 and the dev stream with that. This discussion will cover all the important details, the big reveals, but also the somewhat less awesome lack of things we've been screaming for and topics that are big in terms of debate and feedback. There is a lot to talk about though, so we're going to get right to it. Starting with the all-important new patch of 1.0.4 and the patch notes of that. What's interesting about this patch is it's mostly a kind of response to 1.0.3, where there's been a lot of different changes and issues and things that need to be fixed. For example, there was an elixir here that was reducing resource cost by 10% instead of the actual 20% it was supposed to be doing. There is really important stuff here, like how the Necromancer's Shadow Mages weren't applying extra shadow damage through the Shadow Blight key passive, which is a major issue and why people weren't running those. So now they're actually relevant and usable, and I'll be using them in my minion build that I'm going to be making very soon. So there are some exciting aspects to this patch, even if it's not like majorly obvious. The three big things are at the bottom though. Helltide chests are now dropping unique items, which they always should have been. In fact, a dev in the dev stream was like, wait, they didn't? Yeah, even they were surprised by that. So that's nice, as well as a few bosses being reduced in damage and health. And the cap from crafting materials is up from 999 to 9,999. A major increase. Now, would you please just do the same thing to stash? Please. But then what about the dev stream and the Season 1 stuff specifically? Well, with Season 1 comes the new seasonal theme of corruption, the Season of the Malignant. That launches on July 20th, but the major patch that was referred to by the devs as much more hefty than 1.0.3 is dropping on July 18th. So our Eternal Realm characters are actually going to be able to test and mess around with that a little bit early. Apparently in that they'll have 6 new unique items and 7 new legendary aspects, which surely means universal aspects for all classes, as well as maybe 1 unique for each class and then maybe like 1 new universal one. That's all pretty cool because yes, the Eternal Realms will get new content alongside new season releases, and that's confirmed now. But there is an important caveat that limits what some of that new content will be. Seasons though will last a minimum of 12 weeks, but some might be slightly longer than that. As we now know though, Season 1 introduces the Malignant, a corrupted enemy type, which then rewards a new resource known as those Malignant Hearts. We bind these and cage their hearts and use them for our own purposes, meaning we'll slot them into our gear like a gem. These provide powerful effects the devs claim are going to be relevant and comparable to legendary aspects. Hearts come in 4 types, with a total of 32 unique hearts to collect. They're defined by their colours, just like the slots they go into. Like you gem a piece of equipment, these are called infested sockets. We'll have 3 infested slot types, so by colours you could imagine blue, red and green as an example. So you can only slot a heart into the correct colour, so blue hearts only go into blue sockets. However, the 4th type of heart is known as a wrathful heart and will go into any colour socket, and these ones seem extra powerful. On the other hand, the slots themselves, much like now, will roll on a piece of gear with RNG, or you can socket it with a jeweler and then RNG what type of socket it will be. All of this is done by finding malignant enemies though, right, to get the hearts. And we perform a mini event to take their heart, which has you fight a powerful enemy, which even modifies and enhances nearby enemies with new effects. The tellers will hunt these most often in the new Malignant Tunnels, a new replayable dungeon to find these new enemies most often. There's also going to be a new interesting mechanic in those called Invoking. It's where you invoke a specific type of malignant enemy to force, say, the colour heart or type of heart that you want. You basically find these masses in the tunnels, which lets you choose which type of malignant you want to spawn, which when killed will drop the type of heart that you're after. They compare this to, say, sigil crafting in the way that you get to choose what you want or need, reducing the RNG largely, which is a really good mechanic. I like this. In the post and in the dev stream, they kind of reference the new boss battle, Varshan the Consumed, but all we have on that is an image of the guy and that's all. So yeah, malignant enemies and their hearts, 32 new powers to work into builds. This is what I mean in regards to Season 1 limiting what new content comes to Eternal Realms. Something so impactful like these hearts is something they don't want to bring to Eternal Realms, and this is their explanation as to why. Some seasonal mechanics, like the Malignant Hearts, are going to be so strong that they're definitely going to mess up the balance. Imagine you have a crazy new mechanic that crazy shifts the meta, and then they add another one in Season 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. Eventually, the Eternal Realm would become impossible to manage or balance in a good way. With so many dense mechanics, it's hard to understand and manage as a player, basically bogging down Eternal Realms day to day way too much. I completely understand with that and actually agree with this reasoning. I want to see new stuff in the Eternal Realms and regularly with the new seasons, but obviously it has to be functional. The idea behind seasons is to do things that are crazy and interesting and different, but because they're wiped at the end of the season, there's not like long-lasting consequences of doing crazy stuff. With the season mechanic explained, let's talk seasonal characters. To make a seasonal character, you have to have first completed the campaign once, which at this point we all should have done. From there, you can skip the campaign and make a seasonal character on the seasonal realm, starting at level 1. These characters bring over all explored areas and gathered altars of Lilith, meaning all the renown that you got from that, which will push us towards tier 3 of renown instantly. So we'll get the extra potions from the renown of each region from tier 2, and the first all character skill point from each region as well, meaning 5 total. And there's another 5 we can get from tier 3 in each region once we unlock that again. Then we'll have tier 4 and 5 to actually unlock again for the bigger Obel cap and Paragon points. We'll earn that again through strongholds, side quests, and all the other stuff. They explained that from July 18th with the pre-patch of season 1, you will need to log on to your most progressed character or characters via the Eternal Realm to sort of update your data so that it syncs everything up and brings it into all seasons from then on. All it really means is just log on to your characters before you go into the new seasonal. Once you've done that originally, you'll never have to do it again. Alright, so you make your seasonal character, you log in, your renown and so on has been brought over, you can mount at level 1 and you can skip the campaign. We'll be introduced to the new seasonal story which starts this season in Kjolvestad, which just so happens to be where our new level 1 character will spawn. That's all you need to know about making a new seasonal character, but be aware that once the season ends, your seasonal character will then be transferred to the Eternal Realm with all of their progress brought over. From that point, the season mechanic of Malignant Hearts will no longer be accessible since that's ended. Next, let's talk Battle Pass, the dreaded Battle Pass. Battle Pass has a free version and a paid version. Paid version is exclusively cosmetics. The rest, which is free, includes some gameplay mechanics, such as the currency that we'll use on Season Blessings. We unlock all of that by just playing the game like normal, leveling your character and earning favor. A big part of that is the season journey I'll get to in a moment. If you do buy any pass levels, all you're going to get to is cosmetic stuff faster. You're still going to be limited by character level. The pass has 90 tiers total and 27 of them are free. Any cosmetics you get in the pass have 5 versions each. You know, each class has their own version, and then weapon specific ones for the weapons that class can use. In the free tiers, we earn that currency, Smoldering Ashes, which is spent on Season Blessings. Blessings can increase monster XP, gold from vendors, materials from salvage, boost your elixir durations, and finally, boost the chance of powerful Malignant Heart drops. Each one can be upgraded 4 times, costing 1 Smoldering Ash to go from level 0 to 1, and they might make that more expensive, you'd assume, but maybe not. Then we have the season journey, separated into 7 chapters. We complete a few tasks to progress to the next chapter and unlock new rewards. Thankfully, we don't have to do all of them, just some of them, so if there's any you don't like PvP, you can ignore that, but the rewards are pretty important. They'll unlock new aspects, some you can get in Codex, some you can't. The rewards will also give you favor, which progresses the battle pass. All of that so far is completely fine to me, but there's one big thing here. They mentioned there's going to be a new item reward found in here called the Scroll of Amnesia. When you consume it, you get a full character reset in terms of skill tree, paragon, and all that. It instantly resets for free, which is an amazing, fast way to respec, finally. And the fact that they cost no gold or anything, that's awesome. Except it's not. In the way they've currently explained it, I'm actually pretty pissed off by this. The way they describe it, it's like a one-use big deal item, meaning instead of what it should be, you know, a consistent way to respec quickly that you use relatively often, it's something that you use at an intentional time, seemingly a big event. In fact, you can even transfer it over to your Eternal Realm if one of those characters wants to use it instead. So here it is, like, we need respecking in the game really badly. The current system is really bad. It's pathetic. It's undercooked. This fix also feels like too little. Now in the Q&A section, they referenced how they're looking into player economy and if they will make the respecking cheaper. This is also funny to me because, you know, here I am grinding every day to make sure I have enough gold to barely have enough to make build videos. I know I'm not a normal player, but they could look at my gold and think this guy is making enough gold to respec. I'm no life grinding gold and barely doing it. And I know from the comments on all our build videos that a lot of you guys like the idea of respecking, the idea of trying a different build that we're showing. You just aren't willing to do it because you don't have the resources and you're not willing to lose what you have. It's way too punishing. So the Scroll of Amnesia is a great idea. Making it an extremely limited resource we rarely ever have or use is a bad idea. They have acknowledged that it's an issue we're talking about loudly, and I'm going to keep talking about it loudly. They said they're happy with, 1 to 50 respecking, which, I agree, it is solid, but obviously Paragon and more comes into it. All the gold expense, 50 to 100, it's just not good. So hopefully we see more info about that. Now in their Q&A section, there were a couple things I want to talk about. First, they talk about the stash issues and express that their first approach to any big problem such as that is if they can fix it immediately and put it in the game right away. But due to the testing process, it's just never that straightforward. But they hear it and they acknowledge the issue. Now personally, I can believe and agree with this. I don't know what goes into adding slots to the stash and the coding and the balancing of all that, but we also can't ignore that it is a massive problem and it needs addressing, to be honest, right now, and it's not being fixed. They said that, gems, again, will become materials instead of taking up slots, which is nice. That should be in the game, 3 weeks ago, but I don't care about that. Someone on the team at that point said out loud, yeah, that's going to save a lot of space. And I want to be clear when I talk about this. It won't do anything. It won't do remotely enough to just do that. That would save me half of one stash tab. Currently, I've got 8 bank alts, and their inventories are full. Like completely 100% full. I only play 2 classes right now, which is Rogue and Necromancer, because there's literally not enough character slots for me to make another. We need like 10 times, 100 times the stash space we have right now. Like long term, it's terrible that characters don't have their unique stash and then a shared stash. I will say they address that, they hear this issue, they're working on it, they're trying to find different solutions, but as pessimistic as it is, I feel like they're just not going to do enough, man. All right, moving on. In regards to patches, they talked about Season 1's big patch coming July 18th before the season launch on July 20th. Apparently, it's going to be much bigger than the reasonably big 1.0.3 patch, and patches from then on are going to be more consistent and reliable compared to, say, the random nature of preseason patching. They will do big sudden changes if something is clearly broken, but outside of that, they want to be a lot more consistent. That sounds good to me. But yeah, there you have it. That's my discussion of everything revealed and expressed. I hope that the information you're looking for was there, and also my thoughts on the different things. Most of this I'm very happy and excited by. Some of these things I'm a little annoyed by, obviously. For now though, whatever way it goes, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.